Hi, I'm Christine,
And I'm Cheryl. Welcome to the Made Up Podcast.
and today we have the wonderful Michael Hines, director. Michael has directed some of Scotland's most iconic comedies, such as Still Game, Chewin and also Queen of the New Year more recently. Welcome, Michael.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm
Thanks
looking
for
forward to
coming
having an
out.
natter. It's great.
Always good to have you. Do you want to tell us a wee bit about how you got into directing?
Oh, well, that's a long story. So I started out by running a dance company in Belfast in the late 90s, and I did all the dramatic kind of input into the work for it, and it was great fun. And it brought kind of like 100 kids from both sides of the political divide. And one of the things I did was do all the theatrical directing. And BBC Education at Edinburgh needed a director to write and direct a piece about going from primary school to secondary school and getting bullied and things like that. And it's really difficult to find people who can direct performances out of young kids. So believe it or not, I went straight in as a director, didn't go to film school, did film studies at university, but it wasn't practical. I went straight in as a director. And on the first day of the shoot, the cameraman at the end of the day said, "I've got the measure of you, failed actor."
Oh my God.
He was totally right. So I started directing then, and that was in Edinburgh, and did a lot of single camera educational stuff, and it was great fun. And you were like sent away with 50p and told to come back with a geography series or whatever. And then in the late 90s, children's television, Saturday morning kid shows, that kind of stuff, came up to Scotland out of Glasgow. And me and another person got the two jobs. They were looking for directors, and I learnt how to do multi-camera Saturday morning kid shows, live shows, all that kind of stuff. 50-50, if you ever remember that show, that was great fun. And so I started doing alternate between multi-camera live stuff, music festivals, that kind of thing, and single-camera comedy.
Wow.
And that's how actually I got into Chewin the Fat, because the designer of 50-50, which is basically 100 primary school kids playing a quiz with massive inflatables. It was great fun. That designer was the designer on Chewin the Fat, and they said, "Oh, they're looking for a new director. I think you'd be great." So I went and met Ford and Greg. They liked me, I liked them, and that's how I got Chewin the Fat.
Amazing.
That's excellent. I would never have guessed that you came from a dance school.
Well, I'm not a choreographer.
No, but
Bizarrely,
that's how
I do
you-
the Strictly Come Dancing live tour and absolutely love it. Not as a dancer. I designed the big screen output for the arenas. And I do love dance, and I think I learned to love dance from working with those people. It was
That's
great
amazing
fun.
and great for the kids, I guess, because it's
Yeah.
like, especially coming from all sorts of backgrounds, because I think a lot
Yeah.
of that could be, I guess there's a lot of like schools like that that are very expensive and a lot of kids don't get a chance.
Also, none of them have really done it before, so particularly the boys. I was embarrassed about it. So it just throws you all into the same thing. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what your beliefs are in politics or war or anything else like that. If you can dance, you can dance, or even not. We're still kids. We still dance.
Yeah, of
It makes you the
course.
same. It realizes we're all the same. So I loved it. It was really good. I was company manager. It was absolutely crazy. It's great fun, but yeah.
They always say don't work with kids or dogs, and you've done
Yeah,
both.
well, yeah. Don't work with children and animals, and I've spent the last 5 years working with children and animals. In fact, all my life.
Michael, you, on that note, it was Dog Squad. How many seasons of Dog Squad has there been?
I did all 60. Bizarrely, I've done 62 episodes of Dog Squad and 62 episodes of Still Game, all of them. So,
Really?
yeah, it worked out
62
like that. So it
both?
was 3
That's
years.
mad.
Yeah.
How do you balance? Do you do the full? Do you do the full series? So there's not. How do you balance that then? Because you don't have prep or anything for the. Like
For
usually
what?
for like different blocks would have different directors. You do the entire run,
Yeah.
so you run it all together.
It's quite rare these days.
Yeah.
I've been very lucky with Still Game that I got to do all 9 seasons. Normally, as you say,
Yeah.
even in a block of 6, you might get
Yeah.
director for one. And I don't think it would happen again. But I was just, I guess, in a way, fortunate, but also skilled, developed that relationship with Ford and Greg to work all those years with them.
Yeah, that's great.
Loved working with them. But when you do comedy, it's different to drama as a director because you kind of subsume your own ego. On a drama, unless the writer's there, you're the main creative voice. And in comedy, I would say around about 90% of writers in comedy are in it. If you think about Still Game or, I don't know, Catastrophe with Sharon Hogan or Bad Sisters, for instance, or Peep Show or blah, blah, blah. All of the stuff, they're always in it. So they know what they want.
Yeah.
I had a conversation with Peter Kay once about it because he doesn't have a director. And I said, why don't you have a director?
He doesn't have one at all.
No,
Oh,
he
really?
directs.
Right, okay.
And he said, because they get in the way. And I was like, you've got the wrong directors. You've got drama directors. You need comedy directors.
Yeah.
We're there almost like a referee to facilitate it and put our stamp on. So I always say that anyone could have made Still Game funny because the scripts were brilliant.
Yeah.
I made it my funny. And
Yeah.
I put my stamp on it. And I think that's great. And I think I did a great job. But at the same time, it's about the writing, and you've got to transfer that. Same with Queen of the New Year,
Yeah, of
same with Chewin the
course.
Fat. But once you understand how to work with actors and work with comedy writers who are in it, then I think you can survive longer. So no, and when it comes to the dogs, I mean, it was just bonkers. You had five working dogs, you know. You had a guide dog, a hearing dog, a sort of an assistance dog for a lady in a wheelchair. There was a mountain rescue dog. In the first series, there was a 10-stone Newfoundland that was a therapy dog.
Wow.
It would just trundle in and lie down, and people would play on it like a play area, like a soft
Did the
play.
kids climb on top?
Yeah, they just hug it like a big soft play. And in the second series, that was we came in with a new, smaller dog. And then the Highland Rescue dog was on Ben Nevis. And that dog would go through shot at 1/8 of a second. It'd be like that,
Oh my
like
God.
that. So trying to get any makeup on the dog is really difficult.
No.
Speciality
Checks.
dog groomers.
Yeah, exactly. But it was great fun.
That sounds great. What's your favourite show you've directed?
I'd have to say Still Game, because when you do Chewin the Fat, you used to get a lot of guys coming home from the pub with a kebab after having a night out, and they'd sit and watch Chewin the Fat, and they'd really enjoy it. It was funny. It was quite brutal, and you couldn't show half the sketches these days. But in Still Game, there was a story with pathos and feeling, and I took real pride in trying to make that the best it can be.
Yeah.
So of course I'm going to say that. I've done feature films, I've done all kinds of shows, but the thing I'm proudest of definitely is Still Game.
Yeah.
And there are moments in that are my favourite things to do.
Yeah.
But I tend not to love episodes, I tend to love moments. So I did a feature film that we worked on. You were on Man and Witch, right?
No, I actually
Yeah.
never came out on that.
Oh, did you?
Christine had asked me
Right.
out on it, but I couldn't.
So where
I
did we
done
first
movies
work
on
together?
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have worked
Yeah,
together.
yeah,
That's what
we
I
have
thought.
actually,
Where
yeah.
have we worked first on then?
We worked together before, but we did
Olga.
we did Olga
Olga
the
the Polga.
Polga. For anyone who's not seen it, Olga the Polga is a fabulous children's show.
About a talking guinea pig.
Yeah,
Another kids and animals.
love working
Had a
with
talking
kids and animals.
talking tortoise. And the feature that we did had a talking sheep.
Oh,
and a
that was
goose.
mental. That was a mental job.
That was
I was
nuts.
out when we were up at what's that? Stirling Castle.
Oh right, okay.
Absolutely mental days.
Yeah, that was crazy. So in Man and Witch, the feature film I did, I got to direct the amazing Christopher Lloyd. But because it was COVID, I couldn't fly to America. So he was in LA.
Hold on, sorry.
Christopher
I'm
Lloyd, who
terrible.
played the
Christopher
doc.
Lloyd too. I was going to play Doctor Who.
Yeah, no,
No. Oh no.
No.
You know who-
Christopher Lloyd, who was Doc in Back to the Future.
Yeah.
Right,
Okay. I
okay.
get them confused.
What's the guy who played Doctor Who when it came back? Christopher Eccleston.
I knew how you meant though. The face was right. I just get the names confused.
I don't know if he's ever done Doctor Who, but he did Doc. And
Wrong Doc.
I had to direct him in LA. He said he would come out for the day to shoot, but it had to be 15 minutes from his house in San Antonio.
Oh.
So I sat in my bedroom at 4 a.m. in the morning, and the guy had a phone, and he would walk up to Chris and says, "Michael wants to talk to you."
No way.
And my face would be on a phone.
That's
and I'd have to
hilarious.
direct him like that. But directing him was just like, oh my God, I'm directing Christopher Lloyd. This is amazing. It's
Brilliant.
great fun. So there's moments, and in Still Game, there's a bit where, in the Cold episode, where it's the boy from Timpsons is a pair of these you want, 1999 for Timpsons, and they're slipping and falling. And we pave the paving stone with candle wax. And the payoff to that was we needed a bald stunt woman who had a wig, and the two old guys were going, "It's a wig, it's not a wig, it's a wig." And then she falls flat, and then the wig comes off. So, yeah,
terrible.
yeah.
Don't know if you saw the episode where I talk about the wig coming off in the scene. So we did a call out for questions for this episode, and we had Paul message in to ask if in the episode with Winston when he headbutts a horse,
Oh, yeah.
did the horse behave?
So it's an interesting story, that, because we got an animal handler, and that's somebody in television who specialises in finding the right animal for you. We put a call out, can we get a horse that will fall over when it's headbutted? And someone came back and said, this horse, I was going to say will go down in command, but that's a different podcast, will fall over or kneel down. So I was like, great. The day before, It was the end of March the 27th. I remember that the weekend before, it was on the Monday morning, it snowed about that much. And when we arrived on set, he said, well, the horse doesn't fall over in snow. It doesn't do snow. And I was like, that's diva, bastard in horse.
So, I'd do the same, to be fair.
Yeah, no, I know, yeah. Going down in snow anyway. They cut this massive square out of grass, and then everyone else is stood in snow, and then there's this big square of grass, and then Paul's goes up to it and he goes like that, and then I cut to the other side, and then the horse. Will the horse now kneel? He might do. Okay, kneel, whatever the horse's name does, and then it goes, and then disappears out of frame.
Did it do it?
It did behave, and it did go down, and cut through the cutting of it. It looks like the horse fell over.
Yeah.
And then you cut to other people all looking down, going, oh, in the snow.
Did you any
Half
complaints?
of us couldn't get there. It was ridiculous.
Were there any complaints in that episode? 'Cause
From
I can
what?
imagine, well, for the horse falling, I can imagine there like
animal
a lot
rights.
of animal rights.
No, in a nutshell, because I
Okay.
think when you're doing that kind of stuff, we're not really doing it.
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course, but
And you're not seeing a horse bleeding,
yeah,
you know. So I think, no, but we might have, I can't remember, might have put credits, no horses were harmed in the headbutting of the series, of this episode. It's a great question, though, because I remember the horse coming out. It was a beautiful racehorse looking horse.
yeah,
Because it had to look like a racehorse as well. It was Captain Dandy, and he'd lost him the money. Or
yeah.
it was Captain Dandy. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
So one of the moments I love from Still Game is actually the very last episode, and that's like the sort of balance between going from comedy to something that's really heartfelt. Like, how did you find doing that?
So Ford, Greg, and I had spoken about that ending maybe up to 3 years previously.
Really?
They'd wanted to fade out, and I said, I know exactly how we can do that. And we'll use this special machine that basically does a move, and it repeats the move at exactly the same speed, rather than some hairy-ass guy pushing it faster or slower.
Yeah.
And we'll mix between the two shots. And my favourite moment was when you saw Mina for the only time ever in the series. In 62 episodes, she turns around and then disappears out. A lot of people say they can't watch that episode, and I think that's really lovely to hear. And Ricky Gervais nicked it for Afterlife. He had people fading out and people like that. Oh, we've already seen that. So I took enormous pride in making that stuff to the best it can be, and I'm really chuffed with it. It was quite technically difficult to film, but it's just lovely to do. And I think that's the thing about it. It was just lovely, you know. And if I always said in Still Game, if one person watches something and then goes and calls their granddad or the granny, that's a lovely thing.
Yeah,
So yeah,
of course.
I enjoy watching it. Obviously, I was there when it's made, so I'm not like, oh. But I think it is poignant, and I'm really pleased that. And there's a few little nuggets in there. So the kids, when Mark Cox disappears, when he finds 50p, that's Mark's kids. And
nice.
then when Paul Riley disappears, the guy walking in is a lovely actor called Alex Robertson. And Alex Robertson was the housing officer who gave Winston his first home in the first episode and used to battle him. And so when Paul Riley disappears, it's really poignant to have the same housing officer come in to sell his house. And it's only for those totally in the know and for me.
Yeah,
And I love it,
invested
though. I really
for-
love
Yeah.
it. So, yeah, no, it's a great little sequence to do,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, that sounds nice. It's one of those ones, I think. It's always like a good to go out on a like really good note for the last one.
It's interesting because quite often in television, people want to go until they don't get any more commissions, but then you're not in control of your own demise. And I think Ford and Greg wanted to say, this is us done. And
Yeah.
I totally agree with them. And so we want to go out on our own conditions, on our own terms. And so to finish it off like that was lovely. So, yeah.
And where did the live shows come into all that? And
So what
terms of the
happened
last
was in
episode?
2006, we'd taken a big break.
uh-huh.
And then in 2013, I was doing a Gaelic comedy and had Greg in it. And Greg said to me during the filming of that, oh, we're putting the band back together, like that quote from the Blues Brothers. And I was like, that's great. I didn't think he played any instruments. I had no idea what he was talking about. And he said, oh, no, we're going to do a show at the Hydro for Still Game. I was like, oh, that's brilliant, man. And we want you to direct it. And that was great. And then the next day in the Daily Record, it says Still Game director doing gutted. When it was announced, Still Game director gutted, he's not doing the show. And I was like, oh, man.
Thanks, Greg.
Nobody saw me.
And it was Alan de Palette who directed the original theatre stuff. And so, but think it was just made up. Anyway, it came about from doing that. And apparently when they spoke to the production company, Phil McIntyre's in London, the guy gone, yeah, great. Didn't really know what Still Game was. It's fine. Phoned up the hydro and the woman fell off her seat and the phone lines melted and it was ridiculous. And we were supposed to do 5 shows and we did 21. That's 210,000 people in the first run.
210,000?
Yeah, we played to over 500,000 people live over three different shows. I think my favourite one is the middle show because the second act was set aboard a cruise liner and I got to bring on like a 40-foot high cruise liner at the end of Act 1. It's a big shower curtain, but it looked tremendous. And I love doing that kind of theatre stuff where you can just be imaginative how you create stuff without necessarily having to do it for real.
Does that take you back to sort of where you started doing sort of live
No,
shows?
because I wasn't a big theatre person beforehand. It was youth theatre things.
But like live performances,
yeah,
though,
but live
what's
performances. Yeah, it's funny because one of the cast said to me, have you done this before? They were surprised I was directing because I'm a TV, not a theatre guy. Yeah. And we stood on the hydro stage and it's like 30, 40 metres wide, 120 foot. And I looked out to this sea of 10,000 empty seats. I went, no, have you? And he went, no, fair point.
Brilliant.
So, yeah, it was great fun doing it. And my wife, Kirsty, and Greg's wife Jules, they both had stomach aches of nerves the first night, and me and Greg were just cutting about quite happy. Not because we thought it would be a success, but by then it's too late.
Yeah.
There's no point in
But
stressing.
it's so much fun, and you see 10,000 people, all faces go, at one point in it, and that's a joy.
Everyone loves it so much, though, that everyone that's there is there to support. I think that's the thing as well. They're all there to laugh and they're all there to support.
Punters bringing in 8 pints of tenants for the first half.
Yeah.
There were fights where people arrested.
I can imagine.
Bedlam. Absolutely crazy. Ask Greg about it. They'd be on stage and they could hear this, fuck's sake, like 3 miles away, and it was someone fighting in the back row. It was nuts. I felt really sorry for Gav Mitchell because Gav, who plays Bobby the Barman, had to come on his own at the beginning of the thing, the very first show.
Yeah.
So when the lights went up and that came up, here's about 8,000 people shouting 2 pints prick at him. And I'm like, this is theatre, sit down.
Yeah, this is not the place.
So I've just worked with Gavin.
Okay.
And I have never seen anything like it. See the people shouting at him, like on the street. He just has people shout out at cars and all that.
Yeah,
What, like
whole-
abuse?
Like 2 pints.
No,
quick.
just 2 pints.
Oh,
Every
right,
single-
okay, I thought you meant like
Abuse.
abuse. I was like, why are they giving him abuse?
everywhere. But he's so good with it. He'll take
Yeah,
pictures. He's so good with it. But like genuinely,
Yes.
everywhere he goes, people shout out the window, 2 pints, prick.
That's hilarious.
He's brilliant with it. He's absolutely brilliant with it, and he's a joy to work with. He's hysterical to work with. He's brilliant.
He's so funny.
And I met Greg recently. We were going for a lunch, and we met in Morrison's car park. And by the time he'd walked across Morrison's car park, he'd had 3 people stopping for photos.
Yeah.
Oh, I
And I'm
bet.
like, wow, I'm not sure I would enjoy that level of fame.
No.
No.
Although I was on a train recently, I just directed Dragon's Den in this year, and that was really interesting. And I was getting the train back up from Manchester, and I went to get a coffee, and the train conductor, he said, have I seen you before? And I was like, I don't think so. Don't go to that club anymore. Anyway, and I said, I don't think so. And he said, are you in television? Are you on telly? And I was like, no, but I do work in television. He said, that's it. You're Michael Hines, Still Game director.
No
and I was
way.
like, what the fuck? How do you know that? And I got recognised once because of my voice in Marks and Spencer's. The guy asked me, are you the guy who directs Still Game? And
How did you know through your voice? How did you know?
there's a behind the scenes on YouTube, and I'm in it 3 times
Right.
where I play a director or
Oh,
something
that's so
else. Anyway.
niche.
Oh, you wouldn't believe it. But I mean, you can ask Greg when he comes on. But there's a great story where the cast go to a Still Game quiz and come last, and that's including the writers.
That's
Yeah.
The
hilarious.
people know it.
Yeah.
During lockdown, Greg and I did a Twitter quiz, and it was the hardest ever Still Game quiz. And one guy got every single question right,
way.
and there was stuff where I wouldn't even know what you were on about.
Yeah,
Never
yeah.
mind, take a guess.
Like super fans.
Well, I
isn't
guess
it?
when you're there and you're doing it for so long and
Yeah.
you're doing so many episodes, it's like
Yeah, you
That's
almost
kind. We're
forget.
just not paying attention.
it's hard to pay attention
yeah.
when you're so many. What would you take away? Obviously, favourite show you've worked on. What about characters? Or is there any favourite characters that you have?
Across everything I've done,
Yeah,
or
or-
in
or-
Still Game. Or...
Both favourite character from Still Game, but also favourite character across the board. Any jobs?
Oh, that's really tricky. That's really tricky. Do you know what? In Still Game, I loved Eric, played by Jimmy Martin, because he was really old. He was the old guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was just delighted to be in amongst it and have a great time. And he kind of gave it validity, and no one minded that there were the young people made up. And Julie Doric-Keenan and Amy Buchanan, brilliant makeup on the guys, really brilliant. You just bought it.
Yeah.
And then Jimmy was just sitting there, and he'd be telling stories all day, forgetting his lines, having a look around, just having a nice day out. But I love what he brought to the show.
Yeah.
And again, I love moments of all the characters. You know, there's sometimes when Victor's done something and I think, oh, that's just terrific. Or when Jack throws a line in. So it depends. I think overall, I feel most for Bobby because he gets the piss taken out of him all the time. But in terms of directing them, it was great fun to see Sanjeev really come on during his time and still get.
Yeah.
And it was great to see Jimmy sitting there just because he was an extra, he's a background artist beforehand and a theatre actor, but for him to come out and have a great time. But they were all delight to direct. You just have a laugh directing Gav or whatever. So yeah, it would be difficult. It's like saying which one's your favourite child.
Yeah,
in a sense.
Yeah. There's
some
so
of
many
them I
different
hate and would never
moments.
speak to again. But
What about visually? What's your favourite character, hair and makeup wise?
I think I've got two answers for this. There was an episode where there was a magazine for old people, and they were all trying to make themselves look young. Isa had the boobs shoved up here. Jack wore Cuban heels, and makeup had put, I don't know if it's wig tape or what tape it was.
Yeah.
It was tipped up here on Mark Cox. So he looked like that,
Or
like
is it
he'd
the
had a
wee tape she
facelift.
put under the wig?
Yeah, and he sat like that, and he came on, and I cried with laughter so much. And what was funny was I only ever saw the guy. I would go in and say good morning, as I always do in the makeup truck, but I only really saw people coming on as Jack or Victor.
Yeah.
And you spend all day with them. And Mark had a wig and some latex, but he didn't have a tash. But Ford and Greg would have tashes and stuff.
Yeah.
And Sandra would have a big beard attached.
Yeah.
And you just got used to seeing those people. So when Mark came out like that, I cried with laughter. Oh my God. Just laughed so much. It was ridiculous. I have to say, Tracy Jones, who's the head of hair and makeup on the Strictly Come Dancing tour, and Marcus and Jesse and Megan, all the crew, what they do on Strictly Live is astonishing. And some of my most admiration for makeup is watching the turnaround of those guys doing makeup.
Yeah.
Because when you see them coming out, people expect to see the makeup from their favourite dances on the TV show, where they've had ages to do it or whatever, because it's only one couple.
Yeah.
And they turn around that stuff in like no end of time, particularly on the pros, who will come and do a couples dance and then literally 12, 15 minutes later are back out for a group number. And when I design the screens, I do the script and then I don't go on the tour. It goes with the group to do it. And if I come and see the show and I go backstage, I'm in awe of those guys because, you know, it's just a flurry of brushes.
Yeah.
And what they look like is amazing. And it's full on theatrical makeup to get all of that on and also to scrape all of the previous look
Yeah, I
off.
was going to say. It's the,
So again, it depends. It's looks, it's horses for courses. And one of the things as a director I admire the most in makeup and hair is that what you call natural look, supposedly. And it must do your heads in when we go, I want it to look like they're not wearing makeup.
I know makeup.
Yeah. But actually, if it was no makeup, that would look completely different to base makeup. But they still need to look makeup for television.
Camera ready,
So I was working with Maddie McDonnell yesterday on an advert, and we wanted the actress to come in from work, and then the next shot, she's in her comfies. But people, when they go home, they don't take all the makeup off until they go to bed, I imagine. Correct me if you're wrong. You do it before you sit down and change into your comfies.
Minute I'm in, makeup's off, hair's
Right.
scraped back, comfies are on. But
Well,
that's not everyone, that's just
No,
me.
so what
Oh, I
we did
would be
was
there
her hair was
with you.
scraped back in one of those big piranha fish things that terrified me. And we'd asked for that, and we put her in comfies because it was about her rules of eating. And it was like, instead of etiquette, it was Scottiquette was the gag. And Maddie had done that brilliant job of hair up, and it was precise so that every 2 minutes I wasn't going, fuck's sake, move that hair out of the way. But her makeup was great because it looked like she didn't. It wasn't that she had no makeup on, but it was correct makeup for television without it look like she was going out. And I was watching a thing last night with Kirsty, and it was one of these reality shows on Netflix where a Midwest couple flip houses. They come in and someone buys a house and then they do the house up for them. It's like 60-minute makeover. And it was the showrunner they were doing it for. And her partner, I don't know who'd done the makeup there. I mean, if they watch this, she looks bad, but she won't. And she had quite a lot of lipstick on, and it looked great. But when she saw the turnover of the house, how lovely it was, and she burst into tears, and her mouth turned down, it made her look like a clown because it was so much fun. So I wanted to ask you guys, when someone asks you for makeup, do you look through the whole gamut of emotions they might have to go through to know we need to be aware that they might be crying at some point? And is it waterproof mascara, or is it mascara that you want to see running? How do you guys work that out and make those decisions?
Yeah, absolutely. We do a script breakdown of everything, of every single character has a breakdown.
Yeah,
like
but
everything
do
they're
you
gonna
set
be.
out with a design knowing that in 3 pages time or 3 hours, 3 episodes time,
absolutely.
they're going to cry, so don't put too much here so they
Yeah.
don't look ridiculous.
So if there's like a scene where there's going to be kissing, or they're going to be crying, and obviously their makeup looks already established, but there's things we can do before that happens to
Sellotape.
ensure, sellotape over the lips. So for example, like if they've got lipstick on, we'll blot their lips down, and we'll make sure that before and after that we're not going to have them too made up, otherwise, unless they have to be for any reason, because then you're running into makeup all over somebody's face.
How do you
and
find it when
comical.
you get, sorry to interrupt, how do you find it when you get old idiot guys like me going, well, actually, we want her mascara to run to make it look like she's been crying? That doesn't really happen that much these days. But you know more than... It was interesting because in this advert, we spoke to the client, and the client's marketing team were younger women, and they said, well, she would just put her hair up in a claw. And I was like, that's a great idea. I wouldn't have thought of that. And I want to always have a creative collaboration with my makeup team to say, what do you think? Mm-hmm. Do you get that often, or do you not?
No, absolutely. I think that's the nice thing about working in the creative industry, isn't it? That it's such a collaboration from all departments. It's not just a makeup decision. When it comes to makeup, it's never just a makeup decision. It's the director, the producer.
But we place enormous trust in you to interpret our words.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to go use that lippy and just watch that bronzer and I've run out of makeup.
Well, that's it. I think that's everyone in the creative industry looks after their small part, and that's why it works. That's why everything works together, because we all come together as a team and everyone has their specialist sort of area.
Hope. Yeah, we try.
Yeah.
But I think in terms of what you're saying about if you ask for something, for example, like you want something that maybe we might think is over the top or going to look ridiculous, then obviously that's a conversation where we'll say, like, yeah, we can do that, but maybe like it would be better if we do like this, or there's a kind of
didn't use orange paint,
meet in the middle. If something, because obviously there's the vision and then there's the reality of something might be in your head a great idea, but for us it's maybe going to not work out as great as that.
And why is it not going to work out great for you? Is that because of the creative look or the system by which you apply it?
Well, so if you're talking somebody crying on screen and you want mascara all down their face, the reality of somebody starting crying probably isn't going to give them mascara all over their face on screen straight away. So that's a kind of
tape roll.
Tape roll,
and then you actually paint in the running mascara.
A tape roll for anybody who doesn't work in TV and film is where we stop during a take and we go in and do what we have to do, and then we film again. But
we keep the tape running. That's why it's called roller tape. Actually, there isn't any tape and there's no roller. Just digital.
Back to the old
school. So you
can
go
days.
Cut, stop, come in and start again. But tape roll means everyone else is still and stands still and just carries on, don't they? Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting because I think, and tell me if I'm wrong, right? And Costume might hate me for this, but I was talking to a sound guy yesterday, and with pictures, you can get away with some dodgy pictures, right? And people go, oh, that's arty. Mm-hmm. With sound, it's good or bad. It works or it doesn't. Mm-hmm. And there's no thing. So sound is undervalued. And actually, I would say as a director, I really want to concentrate on the sound, not just the picture, because it's good or bad. Mm-hmm. I think the same with costume and makeup. I think costume, you can get away with stuff, whereas makeup is right or wrong. Mm-hmm. Because when people look at people, they either go, oh, straight away with our eyes. We look at people's eyes and face first. We don't look at you guys and go, that's an interesting choice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's the face that leads. Would you agree that I'm not saying it's more important. I'm just saying makeup can be right or wrong, and therefore it's much more crucial to get it right. And I think sometimes it's undervalued, that.
Yeah, I think absolutely. I think it's what everyone's looking at. And I think sometimes in the industry, whenever makeup are not given time, you're like, the lighting's beautiful, but see, for our hair's in front of our face, it's not going to work. Like, you can't use the shot. So actually that's what people are looking at. Like, they're looking at the face, and sometimes you're not given the time on set.
Yeah.
No, it's true. Because I always say to DOPs, you know, if you have 40 minutes to light, I am going to allow plenty of time for checks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's fair we all have the same time. But then I was talking to a DOP yesterday on the shoot, and he was like, lighting only lights what's in front of it. And if the actress or the actor looks great and the hair's right and the makeup's right and the costume's right, then that's why the light looks beautiful.
Yeah.
You know,
'cause it's-
they say you can't polish a turd, nor can you light one better.
yeah. It's a team effort of everybody, of everything. I think you are good for that, of like just like allowing
Bless
people their
you.
checks and giving their time to do their job. But obviously there's some jobs that you go on and you're kind of dismissed almost as a department. Not dismissed, but you're
Rushed.
you're rushed off that.
Do you think
set
that would be
as
the case
quick
if you
as
were all
can.
guys?
No.
No, I don't
Absolutely
think
not.
so. No.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, because it does seem to be the female departments that
Yeah.
tend to get shunned sometimes. And do you know what? I think it's a lot better now.
Yeah,
People
it's
are a lot more
yeah.
respectful now than there are. But when I first started out, we were like, there was a lot of jobs where it would just be like I remember, like somebody I worked with before used to literally roll their eyes when we would go on a set, as if like, why are you here? And then it's
Was that
patronising.
DOP or a
but
director?
it was a first.
Oh, that's just nonsense.
But we would literally be like, we're here to do a job like everybody else. And I wasn't a trainee, but I wasn't long out being a trainee at the time. I think I'd only started assisting, and I was like, it's actually intimidating. It's like, you're going onto a set and we're going to do a job. We've got a designer that we're working for that's told us what we have to be looking for with a certain character or what she wants, and then to go on to set and then have somebody roll
Also,
their
that's the
eyes.
thing. I've got a pal who's working on Death in Paradise in costume, and she said, it's not even my fault. If I'm on standby and going in and the designer said, watch out for this, don't shoot the messenger.
Yeah,
You know?
of course.
Don't shoot anyone, really.
Yeah, please.
It's not a good idea. But I do find it interesting. I find it really interesting. And when I run out of time, I get a bit itchy on my feet. But for me, it's not really makeup.
Yeah.
Sometimes some people will spot an invisible hair
Yeah,
and then go, I just need to staple that down over 3 hours. And that drives me mad. But every department, including directors, do that. I will deliberate over an extra take for some reason, while everyone else is going, it was great, move on. You know, so we're all guilty of it, I guess.
Yeah, well, there is that as well. I get
Well, everyone
that.
wants to do the best job as well,
of
isn't
course.
it?
What do directors do that piss you off? Hi, welcome to my podcast.
To direct it. I don't really think that we ever can get...
Maybe
unless
not
it's
collaborating for me. Maybe not having that chat and not being able to go up and say, like, what do you think of this? And
Yeah.
someone not giving you...
Not being respected.
Or demand things.
Not the respect. I think it's like if you've got a question you have to ask for a future scene and they're not giving you like a direct answer, then you can't then prep for that scene.
Well, actually, that's interesting. That's bad directing, because all we do is make decisions. That's literally all we do. We ask people to do stuff and then we decide.
Or sometimes one that can be quite annoying is, and I get that sometimes for reasons out with anyone's control, things change and we have to do them. But when you've spent a long time doing a makeup call, and thankfully it doesn't happen very often, but then you go into set and then the director changes their mind and wants something completely different.
What, in the makeup? As in,
Yeah, or just maybe like costume
I've
or
never had
something.
that.
Maybe something, to be fair, I think I've only heard of it, or maybe it's not happened to me, but when I've been on set,
that's a lack of planning.
it's like
That is a real lack of planning.
well, yeah,
and
because then obviously
decision-making.
we've got fittings and things should be
Yeah,
planned
yeah,
out properly.
exactly.
But there has been moments where maybe like there's been just a no, actually we don't want that anymore,
the
or
wig off
changing
thing.
wigs, or I don't that reminds me of something
Yeah,
recently,
yeah,
but
yeah.
or they're like maybe like a change in like whether somebody wants a wig on or off on set recently.
Why would you take a wig off?
Sorry,
If
can
you've
I-
agreed you're going to have a wig, why would you have it off?
I think there was just a change in the very last minute.
When you say that about the wig thing, that's interesting to me, because am I being naive here when you go, well, it's just a matter of taking the wig off and brushing their hair? Or is it... Yeah, no, but you made that noise.
Yeah.
I know it's a pain. I'm not saying it's not a pain, but when that's a massive change, why is that a massive change? I know it takes time to take a wig off,
Yeah.
and it takes time to do their hair. Am I missing anything else?
So it's the prep that goes in before the wig. So
And
You've
the
wasted
cost.
all that time.
the
And
cost
And the cost, of
Massive
course.
cost.
Yeah, yeah.
So basically, if somebody is wearing a wig a lot of prep goes into
Fitting it,
and
buying
there's
it.
product put in the hair that need to be washed out, or do you know, it's
Pre-wig
not-
on, whatever.
There's like a lot of time we use like the got to be gel in people's hair before we put the wig on,
Oh, I didn't know that.
and that's like
The hair has
glue
to
when
be
it goes
proper.
on. It's like
Like,
rock solid.
you want it to look like a head and not like, so obviously
Yes.
your hair under it would be creating this shape.
Up here.
Yeah.
It's like a rock cartoon.
I'd be rubbish at it because I'd get bored and just go, off you go, you look great.
Set it on, off you go, you're fine.
For theatre, that'd be fine.
I can hear people in theatre going, how dare you?
Oh, I've done it. It's quick changes. Get it on.
Very
Put it on
dare
and you
you.
go.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Michael, what is your funniest moment on set?
On set. It's interesting because we're talking about makeup, but because the latex the boys had put into their eyes and all around here, if it got wet, it would go white. And one of the things we couldn't do is cry. And if we ever started corpsing on set, and they would cry with laughter, poor Julie and Amy and Heather, Jackie come in and go, stop laughing. and of course, corpsing with howling with laughter. There's one of the funniest things I remember, and it's a tiny thing, but it's an outtake that I've got on camera, and it's hysterical, is we're filming in the pub in the Klansman, and Paul is at the end of the bar playing Winston. He's supposed to turn around and talk to Tam, who's playing the buggy. And none of us, not me, not script supervisor, no one has noticed that Mark isn't there. So we go, action. And Winston's at the pub. And then at the bottom of the screen, you see Mark Cox crawling on the floor really quickly like that, and then just kind of stand up really quickly like that, hoping no one would notice. And Paul Riley's just doing this, watching him go by the whole time. And he just stepped off because he was bored or whatever, and had forgotten to come back on set. And it was such a stupid thing. The other one, which involves Mark Cox, is in the episode brief. At the end, just as Tam buys the car, a fridge falls through the roof of the car. And in order to do this, we have an enormous crane that's about 60 feet high with a big piano wire, like a big piece of wire like that, bolted to the bottom of the car, and the fridge is around it, so the fridge can't go anywhere else. So it shoots down that wire. We've cut a big hole in the roof of the car so that the fridge will go straight through. And in order to release that, it says in the script, when the keys drop into Tam's hand, a fridge falls through the roof of the car. And the boys were great for writing a simple line like that. And I'm going, this is 8 hours of work. Anyway, we did it all. And the guy who was releasing the fridge said, when we release it, we do a big noise so everyone knows it's coming down. So I said, okay, bring out the cast. Let's listen to it because it echoes against the flats. And they can't do anything because I'm going to take it out when we do the edit. So I said, hey, guys, listen to this. And it's Ford and Greg and Paul and Mark playing Jack, Victor, Winston, and Tam respectively. And it goes bang, and they all go, Jesus Christ. And I was like, right, don't do that. And they were like, okay, we won't do that. So that's fine. So we set it up, and it's about 60 crew or whatever. And it's taken us 3 hours to set up, and it comes out, and the keys drop in it, and it goes bang. And Mark Cox goes, fuck, and throws it in the air. And then in the background, and of course I can't use it. And then there's about 60 people turn, and I'm behind the monitor, and I just look up like this, and I go, again? And then sink down again, and then everyone turns and looks at Cox, and you arsehole. Yeah, unbelievable. And if you watch it to this day, you can still see Mark go like that. It was brilliant.
Oh, I'm going to have to go watch it.
Yeah, no, it was funny. We had a great time filming that, and there are a lot of outtakes and funny moments and things like that. But in general, because that show particularly was such good fun to make, if it was corpsing or funny things like that, we tried to actually get a handle on it really quick. Otherwise, it's going to be another hour in makeup.
Yeah.
With the dogs or other things like that all over the place, it's mayhem. But yeah, that's the two things I remember.
That's hilarious. I can imagine the fridge coming down is not an easy reset.
No, in fact, I have to think about how they got the back-in fridge back up, and now I've never thought about that. It's not someone climbing up going...
Yeah.
They've got to lift it up somehow,
like
I guess.
Crane in the background. So every episode we do a little makeup on two section. As
Great.
you know, Makeup on 2 is a private conversation we have
Great.
where everybody listens in on set.
Yeah, because everyone. See, though they do that on set. So I don't know if people know at home, but when there's a walkie-talkie, which I don't have a walkie-talkie, but people go, "Can so and so switch to 2?" And then everyone switches
Everyone's
to 2. Just shat myself. All right. Anyway, Makeup on 2.
So we do this little section as embarrassing stories.
Okay.
Do you have any embarrassing or disasters, like on-set disasters?
So I've got one great story. I can't name names. God, it's so embarrassing. But there was a tour I was doing, and I came in the first day into rehearsals, and I saw the person, and I said, "Oh, hi," this person, and talked to them for 20 minutes, then sat down and got on my work. Then when I went downstairs to get a coffee later, the exec, who looks very similar to that other person, was sat downstairs. And I said, "Oh, hello to that person." And then had a 20-minute conversation with them, only to realise it was the same person.
Oh, no.
Because I asked, "Has so-and-so been in?" And they went, "No, he's coming in tomorrow." And I went, so I ran upstairs and I said to my pal, the stage manager, I was like, "Has that person been in?" "No." "Has that person been in the whole day?" "Yeah." "Oh, fuck." And I was mortified. And it's a bit of a pish story because I cannot tell you the names. But I do that all the time. And for instance, on this ad I've just done, the gaffer who I haven't worked with since Olga, it's Graham, we're having lunch. And I asked where Graham was, and he was sat opposite me. And I just forget because I've worked with so many people.
Yeah.
I get actors coming up to me all the time, and my wife Kirsty's gone like that. "You've no idea who they are, have you?" And I'm like that. "Hi, how are you? What you been up to, man? What's happening?" And I do it all the time, and it's always embarrassing. And that was a class one, and I'll tell you the names afterwards. But that's usually the most embarrassing thing, is where I ask and shout out someone's name and get it wrong. Most of the time. There was an incident really early on in my career on a show called Mr. Wymie, which was about a kid, and he had a robot butler, and it was in an old folks home. And by the time we came to shoot it, she'd wangled herself a 45-second monologue and completely taken over the scene. And anyway, I shot it, and as soon as I finished shooting, my producer, who's my mentor, a lovely guy called John Adams, came over and he went, "I could see that happening, and I thought, I'll just this once let you sink in the shit, and you'll never do that again." And that, I learnt a lot from that moment, is as a director, sometimes when that happens, because I couldn't say no to her because I was too junior and too embarrassed.
Yeah, you're not.
And it was awful. And actually, she just hoovered up all the goodness for herself. It was hysterical. So usually forgetting people's names and talking to them as if they're someone else. And it's horrific. I do it all the time.
So you're coming from like doing sort of dance stuff and then into TV. Did you, the first time you'd done a TV production, had you been on set before? Did you?
No, I did film and media at Stirling University, but it wasn't practical.
Okay.
So it was kind of like more of a fine art stuff. I'd done a lot of radio stuff.
Yeah.
Had been an actor. I'd started out being an actor.
Really? Okay.
So there was a great series called Cardiac Arrest. I don't know if you remember that. It was a hospital
I've
drama.
heard of it.
Yeah.
I've not seen it.
And I played a HIV patient. And
Right.
Irene Napier did the makeup on that. And I
Lovely,
had
Irene.
an ankle cut with an ankle break, supposedly. So there was a chicken bone sticking out my ankle.
Right.
And there was a kid next to me who had and he was about 8, and he had a neck injury. And he looked down when he saw my thing and promptly threw up because it looked so realistic. Anyway, I played that part. So I'd been on sets as an actor. My granddad in Liverpool, he just said, he told everyone, because I was a HIV patient in cardiac arrest. He said, Michael's in casualty as a HCV driver. And I was like, that. None of that is correct. So I've been on sets as an actor a few times.
So you weren't showing up, never seen a call sheet or...
I didn't really know call sheets. I didn't understand the practicalities of it. I started out fairly small stuff. The great thing about education was you started out with small crews and you always got bigger and bigger stuff. Yeah. And you still learn. I'm still learning now. I've learned from today's conversation. And a director you always are. I try to work. I think communication should be courteous, clear, and concise. Yeah. He said waffling on. And as a director, I have this big bugbear about courtesy in the industry. We don't need to shout. We should be planned, and we shouldn't. Yeah. A lot of people, often guys, mask their insecurity and vulnerability in directing behind being gruff. Yeah. I want this. Do this now. There's no need for that. It's just bitch. So I like to have a nice time on sets, and I've always done that.
Yeah.
But no, I learnt an enormous amount every day as I went along. And I was still waiting for someone to tap me on the shoulder. I did not know one end of a camera from another. I still am learning about lenses and stuff. It's ridiculous.
Guess everybody always is, aren't they?
Yeah.
Well, no, you get a lot of directors who come in and say, well, use the 50 at this point. You know, like
Like,
that. And
just
I'm like,
pick
oh, yeah,
something.
smashing. Is that an ice cream? No idea what they're on about.
Is that an ice cream?
Yeah, no, exactly. So, no, I learnt an enormous amount, and I'd never directed anything before then. But of course, I started directing in the 90s, so it wasn't like there were phones that you could do your own short films on.
Yeah.
People now are so experienced at editing and shooting, or shooting then editing, or even scripting their own stuff, you know.
Yeah,
Whereas
of
we
course.
just different.
How would you, like, obviously you come in such a sort of roundabout way, how would you tell other people who wanted to get into directing, how would you tell them as a good, today, as a good
There was
way
a
in?
brilliant TED talk about don't do your dream job, do the job you're doing, make it your dream job. And a lot of people want to direct, and I say to them, do you want to work in the creative industries on TV? Then go and be a boom operator, or go into the AD route, or whatever. And you'll find a job, and you may never direct, but now you're working. Because everyone has responsibilities, mortgage, whatever, stuff to pay.
Yeah.
And we all have passion projects we want to do. So I like writing music, and I'd love to write music for TV and film. I've done it a couple of times. Maybe I wouldn't do the whole time because I have to work with arsehole directors. But anyway, but that's not going to earn me money. Directing does. So I direct, and sometimes I'll do jobs that are hard work, and sometimes I'll do jobs that are great fun. So I say to people, is it that you want to direct? In that case, make your own stuff on your phones, show it to people, try and get it out there, put it on YouTube, TikTok, all the social platforms, be a creator of content, and then eventually someone will hire you if you're good at it. If that's what you want to do, you may not earn, and the journey will be much, much longer. But that's the truth, unfortunately, these days. You know, with the demise of River City, there aren't as many training opportunities in Scotland now for directors, etc.
Such a sad loss.
Yeah, I think if more people had watched it, it would still be around. So it's a loss to the industry. I just think enough people didn't watch it to make it worthwhile saving. Anyway, or do you want to get into the creative industries, or if you want to try and direct? Because if you say to people, go and be a runner and work your way up the AD route or into production to production management and things, I'll be a vision mixer and move over. Very few people move over. Very, very few. Particularly in Scotland, everyone is pigeonholed.
Yeah.
You know, I'd love to do Shetland. I'd be great at Shetland. I can't get a gig in that because I'm seen as a comedy director.
Yeah.
It's absolute nonsense,
okay.
but I'd love to do it. But people go, you do comedy, you don't do drama. And so if I'm getting pigeonholed, everyone is.
Yeah.
People will come in and they go, well, you're not a director, you're locations. Or you do makeup, or you do costume, or whatever the discipline is. And so my advice to people is, be realistic. If it's absolutely directing you want to do, you have to make the content, and eventually you might get there and you might get a shout.
Yeah.
But don't do that traditional route of come be a runner and AD, get to a first and jump over to directing. Because sadly in Scotland, there's not enough work in scripted, and also people don't get to do it. In unscripted, Homes Under the Hammer, location, all that kind of stuff, there are shooting producer directors, or shooting APs they're called. And if you're interested in that kind of thing, my advice to you is go and be a researcher, go and be an office runner, researcher, AP, start shooting your own stuff, learn to use cameras. I've only ever shot one thing in my life, and I shat myself doing it because I've never pressed a button in my life. I can vision mix, but when it comes to shooting stuff, I don't know. You'd be like giving a cow a gun. It'd be a disaster. You don't know what you want to be doing. I need to ask people. I'm an old-fashioned director. But there are really skilled shooting producer directors who can film their own stuff. It's crazy.
We're now going on to our quick fire round. Chris is going to ask you a few questions. Don't think too much about it.
Okay.
Just quick answers.
Okay. Chewin the Fat or Still Game?
Still game.
Jack or Victor?
Victor.
Pint at the Klansman or a cup of tea at Isa's?
Cup of tea at Isa's.
Sketch show or sitcom?
Oh, that's tricky. That's really tricky. Depends on the sitcom. With a sketch show, it's like having a small plates meal. You're always going to get something you like, but you don't necessarily get your teeth into it, so it depends.
Okay.
And actually, that Jack and Victor one's really unfair because there's bits of Jack that I think are tremendous. Yeah, exactly.
Wait till we get to the later one. Live show or TV?
TV. But there is a beauty in live show being able to do it and walk away from it because I'm quite lazy.
Yeah.
But actually crafting a whole thing in TV is great.
That's okay. Funniest person you know?
there are people who genuinely make me laugh out loud that I hang about.
Yeah.
So Greg or Gav, people like that. When the people I work with in comedy are on form, they all make me hoot with
Yeah.
laughter. So it's tricky.
Different
There's
people
a
at
few
different times.
Different people. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I've laughed at you two a great deal today, so it could be you two.
You're quite funny.
Yeah. Anyway.
At us or with us. Favourite comedy?
Frasier.
Oh, it's a good one.
Thank you.
Day shoot or night shoot?
There's something lovely about night shoot, but I'm getting old, so day shoot.
Same.
What's your favourite time to start? What's your favourite call time?
Oh, I'd love to do a 10 till 4.
10 to 4.
be
Oh,
great,
that would be
wouldn't
nice.
Be great, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Sparks or grips?
Sparks.
Costume or makeup?
Well, obviously I've got to say costume.
It's an outrage. It's okay, we'll take that.
What's
Yeah,
your
you can.
favourite makeup brand? Is it Makeup Forever?
A
Makeup
really
Forever,
good
yeah.
palette that we all have in our set bag,
Yeah.
actually. Those little palettes that they've got the cheeks and the face. They
Yeah.
are really good, actually. What is your can't live without product?
Twiglets.
What?
I don't like
I love
Twiglets.
Twiglets. I
No,
fucking love it.
product.
You mean for
For
face?
face or hair, what do you put on every day?
I use
Twiglets.
Nivea Afterburn for shaving.
Right.
And it's fantastic.
Oh.
Drop of witch hazel smells really nice. It smells up like that Cool Water used to. There's a retro perfume for you.
I mean, 90s
Um,
back.
But I've got to say, I don't use a great deal of products. I'm so sorry to talk to
No,
you
it's
about
good
it.
to find out people.
No,
I
anyone
use
everything.
VO5, whatever's cheapest hair,
Yeah.
gel, wax, mousse, potatoes, Kirby grips, and I moisturise occasionally, and I use some Tropic stuff from Susie Ma.
Oh, nice.
Oh.
Nice products.
Thank you so much for coming on today, Michael. It's been lovely to chat to you.
Thanks for having us. I had a blast and having a natter. It's been great.
It's been great. And thank you all for listening.
Thanks for tuning in to the last 2 podcasts we've put out. It's been great, everybody's support. If you want to support us more, you can join our Patreon, or you can listen to this one and the next one and the next one.
You can follow us on Instagram, we're on TikTok, we're on Facebook, and we are putting our podcast on YouTube and Spotify just now. So check it out. Thank
Thanks,
you.
everybody.